Hey everybody, welcome back to The Stuff of Legend. My name is Dilo and I have another video for you today. Today we are going to be doing the Fancasting Summit number 8, Green Lantern Corps Part 2. Now this is a really cool, interesting video for me. And I know many of you guys have been waiting a very long time to get this video out. A lot of guys have been submitting their requests for who they want to play in the Green Lantern Corps series coming to HBO Max. Initially, the first part of this was initially to be for the DCEU. But then immediately after that Fancasting Summit came out, we started getting news about a rumored Green Lantern project, and then confirmation that it would be coming to HBO Max. Again, still through DC, but to a different platform other than the DCEU of Cinematic Universe. So we are going to be fan casting for the both of those. And let's go ahead and intro in. We got our image here, guys. Got my glasses on this time because I'm going to be reading off the screen for a prolonged amount of time. So bear with me. We are going to get into this as soon as possible. I just wanted to check really quick and see, can you guys hear my voice? Before we get going into this live video, just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, a yes, a Y for a yes in the chat, or an N in the chat for no, if you guys can hear my voice and hear the background music. Can you guys hear everything okay? Just give me a quick thumbs up or a thumbs down, and as soon as I get one of those, I'll know that you guys have been able to hear my voice up to this point. In the meantime, I wanted to just catch you up. Last time we did the summit, we did Green Lantern Corps Part 1, and that was Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Kyle Rayner, Simon Baz, Jessica Cruz, and Kilowog. Those 6 characters were taken care of in the previous Green Lantern video that we did, the previous summit video. So if you guys are wondering where those characters are in this one, they're not in this one, they're in the first part. That's why this is part 2. But join us as we continue on, because man, do we have a cool video for you. Again, if you guys haven't already, subscribe to my channel and help me get to that 1,000 subscriber mark so I can finally start making money on YouTube and then make this channel grow. That would be a really fun thing. Could dedicate significantly more time to this, as I do currently have a day job. But I would love to be able to do this much more often. And so thank you guys. I see the thumbs up in the chat and the Y from AJ Smith. Appreciate it, guys. So if you guys can hear me just fine, we will venture on into the Fancasting Summit. So without further ado, let's get going. Fancasting Summit number 8, Green Lantern Corps Part 2. Do you guys like Green Lantern Corps? Well, watch this. You're going to want to check it out. We are doing Sinestrro, Gardner, Ganthet, Tomar-Re, Ferris, and Atrocitus. These 6 characters for this summit, following on the heels after we did the first 6 characters, which I named previously, which was Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Kyle Rayner. We also did Simon Baz, Jessica Cruz, and Kilowog in the first issue. Now, we are coming across and we are going to be doing your favorite characters: Sinestrro, Gardner, Tomar-Re, Ganthet, Ferris, and Atrocitus. Now, it was not specific as to whether or not this was going to be yellow or green for Sinestrro. His whole entire character plot is the same and involves both, so it wasn't really going to affect the casting choices very much, I would imagine, because that's his arc, that's his character, so whoever you cast is supposed to be that. Same with Gardner, and everyone else kind of, you just cast for who they are. So good job with everyone. I've already seen the results. Stick around to the end of this video if you don't know summits very well. At the end, we take every fan caster's votes. Every caster gets 2 votes per character, 2 actors. They get to submit for each role. And then at the end, I tally all of the actor names and we see which actor was nominated the most for each role. So if you want to see those, or if you want to guess about those, put them in the chat. Light up that chat. Let me know what you guys think about that. And without further ado, let's go ahead and thank everybody for joining. Mason Yeater, I'm gonna go over this whole list by the end, but if you guys can, just hit these guys up on Instagram. These guys make this possible. They are amazing fan casters, dedicated. They do this all the time. Go ahead and check these guys out on Instagram. Follow them, and I will thank them at the end for their picks. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me on the Stuff of Legend. Make sure to subscribe, and let's get into it. All right, first up is Mason Yeater. Welcome back to the Fancasting Summit. We have first Sinestrro, Robert Knepper from Prison Break and Arrow, and Willem Dafoe from Aquaman and Spider-Man. Both of these guys are some of my favorite. They're two of my favorite actors, particularly for villainous roles. Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin is one of my favorite roles ever in any film of all time. I genuinely love his portrayal in Spider-Man. It literally changed my life. I absolutely love that. But also Robert Knepper in Prison Break was unbelievable. Like you genuinely felt, he truly felt sinister. He felt evil. And between the two of these guys, both of them absolute top tier actors, and both of them I do think look brilliant for this role. I would give this one to Robert Knepper personally, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, because that's how this works. So thanks guys. Let's move forward. Guy Gardner, Green Lantern and Red Lantern, Aaron Paul from Need for Speed and Breaking Bad, and James McAvoy from Split and X-Men Days of Future Past. I really like both these guys. I think I like James McAvoy as an actor much better, but I will say for this specific role, Guy Gardner is like the all-American, musclehead jock. He delves into rage quite a bit, and that ends up becoming an arc for him beyond Green Lantern into Red Lantern. Obviously James McAvoy did such an amazing job of that in Split. He really demonstrated that he's capable of that completely. But I do think that Aaron Paul's general personality is closer to that ballpark. And so I think I might give this one to Aaron Paul. But let me know what you guys think down below. Share your thoughts on that. All right, next we have for Ganthet, Guardian of Oa, Anthony Hopkins from Thor and Westworld, and John Malkovich from Bird Box and Deepwater Horizon. Now, John Malkovich is good, but I do think that I would personally choose Anthony Hopkins. I think Anthony Hopkins is the better actor of the two. He is much more theatrical, and for a role like Ganthet, there's a lot of theatrics. The Guardians are very they're almost classist towards the actual lanterns. They're way up here, they're at the top, and then everyone else is beneath them, and they have to have a bunch of different personalities. I imagine that the series may cast multiple people for the Guardians, but they may cast one person and have that one person play all of the different Guardians with the different hairstyles and different names and all that stuff. It may function kind of like Tamara Morrison as Jango Fett and as the clones, where he plays all the different clones, but they're all their own unique identities. It may function that way. If it does or doesn't, I think both these guys are good. I would go with Anthony Hopkins. All right. For Tomar-Re, Green Lantern, we have Taika Waititi from Jojo Rabbit and Green Lantern. And yes, he was in Green Lantern before. And also Sam Rockwell from Iron Man 2 and Jojo Rabbit. I do like Taika Waititi for this one, and I think I like him more. I think his voice would be a lot of fun in the role of Tomar-Re. Sam Rockwell, I think he could do it. But I think I see Tomar-Re's voice a little closer, or I hear it in my head a little closer to Taika. And for that reason specifically, I'll go with Taika. Also, he does have more motion capture experience, so I think that would be better and a safer call. So I would go with Taika Waititi personally, but I think both are good. Very good. Carol Ferris, who also is Star Sapphire, Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Recreation and Legion, and Karen Fukuhara from Suicide Squad and The Boys. I think, between the two of these, I think I'm going to go with Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza, for one, does look a great deal more like Carol Ferris. She does play a lot of really weird roles, and I haven't seen her play normal very often. There was a few scenes in Parks and Recreation where she kind of like flips from crazy into semi-normal and then back to crazy. I think she could totally do it playing Carol Ferris, who is not she's not weird as a person. Her powers do cause her to fall jealously, madly, wildly, obsessively in love with Hal Jordan, and that could be very fun to watch, especially with Aubrey Plaza. I do think it might be it may prove to be a challenge to get her to be fairly more normal up until that point, but I will still go with Aubrey. I do like Aubrey Plaza a lot, so we'll go with Aubrey. Let me know what you guys think down below. And for Atrocitus Red Lantern, we have actor Brian Tyree Henry from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Hotel Artemis. I love his voice. And John Bernthal, Punisher on Netflix and Ford v Ferrari. Gosh, do I love John Bernthal as Punisher. I really love him as an actor. But between these two, I would 100%, without a doubt, go with Brian Tyree Henry on this one. His voice is 100% perfect for that. It's just so deep, so powerful. I would definitely have to choose Brian. Plus, I think, I don't know if he's done a lot of motion capture before, but it would be really cool to see perhaps him mocap the role and then also voice over, or just voice it. He could just voice it, but either way, I would want that voice in that role. So let me know what you guys think. And now, for those who are unfamiliar, at the end of each Fancaster's turn, they get to see all of their choices lined up in kind of a makeshift team 1, team 2 scenario. So of the two choices, you just line them up, and now we choose which team overall do we prefer or would we rather see in the series or in the movie. And so for me, looking at the team 1 and team 2, I think I liked team 1 all the way across the board better than team 2 all the way across the board. Now, I will say every single person on this list I think would do a really good job in the roles given. But for me, the better choices are team 1, and I really like those. So let me know which team you guys prefer for Mason Yeater down below in the comments, and let me know what you think. So let's keep moving. Next up, we've got Jax Fancast. Jax, welcome back to the Fancasting Summit. All right, let's take a look at your choices. We have, for Sinestrro, Hugo Weaving from Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and the whole trilogy, and Captain America, The First Avenger. He played the Red Skull. Also, actor Luke Evans from Beauty and the Beast and The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, among other things. I really like both of these choices. If we were going to go for a much older version of Sinestrro, I would probably choose Hugo, but I do think that regardless of the age you're going to choose, especially being that Sinestrro is an alien and they don't necessarily age the same, Luke Evans, for me, may be the best choice for Sinestrro. I really love Luke Evans. I know he's the mainstream. He's, if you Google Sinestrro Fancast, that's pretty much what you find is a wall of Luke Evans. But it's true. He would make a phenomenal Sinestrro. So enough about that. Of the two of these, both really, really good. I like Luke Evans. You guys tell me who you like in the comments. Next, we have Guy Gardner, Green Lantern and Red Lantern. We have first Jack Rayner from Transformers Age of Extinction and Macbeth, and Shia LaBeouf from Fury and the Peanut Butter Falcon. I'll say on looks first, I would give it to Jack Rayner. I do think Jack Rayner looks more like what I imagine Guy Gardner to be like, but on acting talent, and especially I think in the rage department, I would give that to Shia LaBeouf. I think Shia would be an amazing choice for that. Granted, he's not the biggest guy in the world. I do tend to picture Guy Gardner as a more macho, masculine, bigger build, slightly taller than Hal Jordan and just, intimidating looking. Shia is not the most intimidating looking guy, but man, do his acting chops make up for the rest of that. Plus, he's been getting into fitness lately, so they could make it work. I'm sure that they could. I would choose Shia. You guys let me know if I'm making a mistake there, if you guys prefer Jack or whatever. You know, let me know. All right, next up, we've got Ganthet from Guardians of Oa. Actor Mark Hamill from Nightfall and The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. And actor number 2 is Ian McKellen, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, and X-Men Days of Future Past. I will say, I love these two choices. These two choices rock so hard. Mark Hamill to me is one of the best vocal actors alive. I would say Sam Witwer, him. I mean, there's plenty of guys out there that have done so many more vocal roles, like plethора's more. Like there's Tom Kenny, there's Steve Blum, plenty of guys that are voice actor legends. Mark Hamill may not be there, but he, as far as recognizability, Mark's voice, especially as the Joker, that's what almost all of us know him from. I would love to see him play a vocal role, perhaps even a facial motion capture role, to play Ganthet. I do also think that Ganthet's head looks a lot more like Mark's head than it does Ian McKellen. Both could do it. I would say for me, this one comes almost like a no-brainer. And that's not to put any disrespect on Ian McKellen. I love that guy. But I do think this particular role is best suited, I think, for Mark Hamill. Let me know what you guys think down below. And by the way, if you haven't seen The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance on Netflix, you have to see that. It's awesome. You wouldn't even be able to guess who the different actors are just listening to their voices. Look at the cast, though. It's all stars from start to finish. Next up, we've got Tomar-Re, actor Jude Law from Sherlock Holmes, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, and Zachary Quinto from Star Trek Beyond and Heroes. I really do like Jude, but Zachary Quinto for me is what I would want for Tomar-Re. I really like just his personality. Obviously, he'd have to be a little bit more like out of his shell than the reserved and logical Spock, but along those lines, I do think that Tomar-Re has elements of Spock, where he's just very like kind of by the book sort of guy. I would really like to see Zachary Quinto in that role. So for me, Zach has my vote. Next, we have Carol Ferris, Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones and Solo: A Star Wars Story, and Felicity Jones from Rogue One: A Star Wars Story and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Given the choice between these two ladies, I would pick both of them Star Wars stars. I think I would go with Felicity Jones. I know a lot of people really want Emilia Clarke for the role, but I think I would probably go with Felicity. I like Felicity as an actress better than I do Emilia Clarke. And if you guys were wondering where was she in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, she was playing Black Cat. You just didn't get a chance to see that evolve because there never was a Amazing Spider-Man 3. So, so she was playing Felicia Hardy. All right, next up, we have Atrocitus, Red Lantern, Ian McShane, American Gods, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, and Daniel Craig, No Time to Die and Knives Out. Oh, man, this one's good. Between the two of these, I'm thinking I would go with Ian McShane. I think both of them have really impressive, acting ability. Certainly they can pull the rage out, but I would like to see Ian McShane go there, and I would love to hear his voice do that. Personal opinion, I think this one's almost a coin toss. You could pretty much go either way. Let me know what you guys think down below about Daniel Craig or Ian McShane. And finally, let's take a look at the teams. So, on the top, we have Hugo Weaving, Jack Rayner, Mark Hamill, Jude Law, Emilia Clarke, and Ian McShane. And at the bottom, we have Luke Evans, Shia LaBeouf, Ian McKellen, Zachary Quinto, Felicity Jones, and Daniel Craig. Wow, looking at the teams, I went bottom, top, bottom, top. And I think I have more choices along the bottom. This one really could go either way. It really could. Wow, it's kind of tough. I'm second guessing myself, but you know what? I'm gonna go with my first thought. I'm going team 2. Luke Evans, Shia, Ian McKellen, Zachary Quinto, Felicity Jones, and Daniel Craig. I think that would work out just fine. What do you guys think? Which team do you like better for Jack's Fancast? Let me know down below in the comments. All right, next up, we've got the Fan Director. Welcome to the Fancasting Summit. It's great to have you. Hope you can come back for many, many, many more. And they won't take this long, I hope. So for Sinestrro, we have Nicolaj Coster-Waldau from Game of Thrones and Black Hawk Down. We also have Gerard Butler from 300 and London Has Fallen. Given the choice between the two of these, for me, you guys already know, for me, aesthetic matters a great deal. I want them to look like the comic book iterations. I want them to look it doesn't have to be the original, but it has to look like the characters from the source material. And to me, Nicolaj Coster-Waldau would look much more like Sinestrro, I think, than Gerard Butler. So I would go with Nicolaj. Next, we have for Guy Gardner. He may be the better actor. That's debatable, of course, but I think he's better for this role. Troy Baker and Chris Pratt. For me, got love for Troy Baker, but it's Chris Pratt definitely on every angle. Mark Hamill and Werner Herzog for Ganthet. I'm going with Mark Hamill on this one. I think he's better suited for a good guy. Bad guy, complicated. I think he can do all of that, so I think I'm going to go with him. For Peter Capaldi and Doug Jones, I'm going to go with Doug Jones. I think that it would be better for physical acting, motion capture, that sort of thing. The experience is going to be very helpful for that. And then Zoe Kravitz or Emilia Clarke, I'm going to go with Zoe. I like her better than I like Emilia Clarke as an actress. Although I will say I think Emilia might have more diversity as far as range as an actress, but I'm gonna stick to Zoe. Atrocitus, I'm gonna choose Keith David. I think earlier I did Brian Tyree, but I'm gonna go with Keith David. And as a team, Nicolaj Coster-Waldau, Troy Baker, Mark Hamill, Peter Capaldi, Zoe Kravitz, and Keith David as one. And then for team 2 is Gerard Butler, Chris Pratt, Werner Herzog, Doug Jones, Emilia Clarke, and Brian Tyree Henry. I think across the board, I'm going to go with team 1, because even the ones that I didn't choose, I feel like they're close enough that the ones that matter the most to me, like Sinestrro and Ganthet, I feel like everybody else was good enough that it validates that. Although I would be really sad to not get Chris Pratt as Guy Gardner. Next up, we have Fancaster 23. I'm sorry I'm jumping through these again really fast, because again, you guys, I should have checked my chat to see if my mic was out. I appreciate you guys letting me know before we got to the end of this whole thing. But I'm going to zip through it. Between the two of these, Adam Driver for Sinestrro. I really like both, though. Chiwetel's great. Between the two, Shawn Ashmore and Luke, it's kind of a tie for me, but I'm gonna choose Luke just because I think he looks better for the role physically. Ian McKellen for me is closer to this role than John Connie. John Mulaney over John Cho. Constance Wu over Bridget Regan. And Ving Rhames over Michael Fassbender. And for the teams, we have Adam Driver, Shawn Ashmore, Ian McKellen, John Mulaney, Bridget Regan, and Ving Rhames. And for team 2, we have Chiwetel, Luke Ejiofor, Luke Hemsworth, John Connie, John Cho, Constance Wu, and Michael Fassbender. Between the two teams, I'm going with team 1. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Ultimate Fancast, welcome back. This is the second time we're going through this, but because the mic was out, I'm going to jet through it. Sinestrro, Orlando Bloom, or Luke Evans? I'm going Luke Evans. For sure, in my opinion. Guy Gardner, KJ Apa, or Cameron Monaghan, both are phenomenal actors, but I think I'm going to go with KJ Apa. Ganthet, Ian McDiarmid, or Andy Serkis? I'm going to go with Ian McDiarmid for sure. Tomar-Re, Russell Crowe, or Michael Caine? I like both of these guys. I think they could both do it, but I don't see Tomar-Re as someone with a deep voice per se. Michael Caine's voice is deep, but I think his would be better suited for Tomar-Re. I'm going to go with Michael Caine. And for Carol Ferris, J-Lo or Alexandria? I'm going with Alexandria. And Atrocitus, between Josh Brolin and Alan Ritchson. If you had put Alan Ritchson against anybody for for the role of Guy Gardner, I would have picked him. But in this role, for this exact character, Atrocitus, I think I'm going to go with Josh Brolin. And for the teams, we've got Team 1, Orlando Bloom, Cameron Monaghan, Ian McDermott, Russell Crowe, Alexander Daddario, Josh Brolin. For Team 2, we have Luke Evans, KJ Apa, Andy Serkis, Michael Caine, Jennifer Lopez, and Alan Ritchson. This is a very tough call for me because you got three people that I like that are, to me, like you couldn't beat on the top. But on the bottom, you also have the opposite 3 people that I think you couldn't beat. So, gosh, it's tough. I'm gonna go with Team 2 on this one. Team 2, Luke Evans, because to me, getting Sinestrro right might be the most important thing. And everyone else, obviously, you want to get right, but I feel like the cast is so good all around that I would choose. I would feel comfortable going with the choices on Team 2. Let me know what you guys think down below. And Comic Man Jake, my man, I'm so glad to have you back. For all those, if you weren't listening before because my mic was out, my bad. But Comic Man Jake is one of the biggest Green Lantern nerds I know. One of the biggest fans, die hard, knows the stuff, knows the history, the lore, the characters. I'm really happy that he was able to join us for this one. Let's take a look at these castings. First, Luke Evans and Adam Driver. I like both of these, but Luke Evans to me is the must-have. Now, this one was my jam. Sean Scott Williams, love that. He's great. He's an awesome choice for that, but I'm going Michael Rosenbaum 100%. He's great. He looks great for the role. He would perform maybe better, maybe. Like him, Alan Ritchson, Chris Pratt, they're like the peak of where you would want to go at acting-wise for this because they're fun, they're witty, they're sassy, sarcastic even, but they're all good at anger. They're good at rage, and that's something that is important for whoever's going to play Guy Gardner. So I'm going with Michael Rosenbaum. Ganthet. I really love both of these. Andy Serkis we talked about before. Great for this role. Maybe even ideal. William Shatner though, that makes me happy. So, you know, this is great, but I like this. So I'm going to go with William Shatner. And for Tomar-Re, Peter Capaldi, Doctor Who and Paddington, and Michael Emerson from Person of Interest in Lost. I like Peter Capaldi, but Michael Emerson is really good. Like he's really, really good. And he's the exact voice. Like when I hear Tomar-Re, I'm actually thinking Michael Emerson. Like his voice to me is exactly what I want for Tomar-Re. So I would choose Michael Emerson. And for Carol Ferris, check this one out. This is a fun one. Jamie Alexander from Thor: The Dark World and Blind Spot versus Christina Wren from Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. So again, Christina Wren, so this video was initially, part 1 was initially just DCEU. Then we learned that the series was coming to HBO Max. It won't be part of the DCEU per se, but it will be part of the HBO Max. So Christina Wren could absolutely do that and pick up the same role because she played Carol Ferris, that exact role, in the DCEU. That was Carol Ferris in Man of Steel at the end, who was just like fawning over Henry Cavill like every other woman in the world. And then Batman versus Superman, she was in there as well, playing Carol Ferris. So she is Carol Ferris. That being said, I would probably still go with Jamie Alexander as the better pick. She could have been Wonder Woman. Like she absolutely could have been Wonder Woman. I think she would be a great choice for Carol Ferris. She did such a good job in Thor playing that lover character that it would work seamlessly for me to transition her into Carol Ferris with that loving obsession over Hal Jordan that then becomes a threat. All right, so next up we have Atrocitus, Red Lantern, Jaimin Hansu from Guardians of the Galaxy, who, and Shazam. Say my name so my power can flow through you. That's kind of like those are the roles that he was in. So he's already in the DCU, but he's not in the HBO Max Green Lantern yet, so it's okay. It's permissible. And then Mads Mikkelsen from Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and Doctor Strange. Between the two of these, I think I would go with Jaimin Hansu. I like his voice. I like his roles in the past, very like a lot of roles that draw anger. And I know Mads does that as well, but I think it would work better for me with Jaimin. So let's take a look at the teams. First, Luke Evans, Michael Rosenbaum, William Shatner, Peter Capaldi, Jamie Alexander, and Jaimin Hansu. Epic lineup. Team 2 is Adam Driver, Sean Scott William, Andy Serkis, Michael Emerson, Christina Wren, and Mads Mikkelsen. Between the two teams, I'm going to go with Team 1. But I want to know what you guys have to say about this. Do you prefer Team 2? Let me know down in the comments below. All right. Next up, we have Enigma Fancast. Welcome back to the Fancasting Summit. So we have Sinestrro, Luke Evans from Beauty and the Beast, and we already know where he's from. And then Jon Hamm, Baby Driver, and Mad Men. This is a really, really cool choice because Jon Hamm, I think, would do an amazing job as Sinestrro. It would be really fun to see him maybe get into the character, get into some makeup, do the mustache, just see how it looks. I think he has the talent for it. But again, it's going to be really hard for me to find other actors that are better than Luke Evans. So I'm going to go with Luke. Let me know what you guys think on that one. Guy Gardner, we have Taron Egerton from The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, and Kingsman Secret Service. And Sam Heughan from Bloodshot 2020 and Outlander. Given the choice between these two actors, I think I might go with... It's tough. Again, Guy Gardner's the all-American boy. That's kind of like his thing. But he was the one that went rogue. He was the one that went bad. Taron Egerton, I think, might be really good in that role. Sam Heughan, though, I also like. I'm going to go with Taron. I'm going to stick with Taron on this one. Tell me who you guys like. For Ganthet, we have Anthony Hopkins, Thor and Westworld, and Michael Gambon from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban and The Book of Eli. Between the two of these, I'm going to go with Anthony Hopkins. I think all around I would prefer Anthony on this one. That one's almost easy for me. But Tomar-Re, we have Sam Rockwell from Iron Man 2 and Jojo Rabbit, and Thomas Middleditch from Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Zombieland Double Tap. Between the two of these, I think I would do Thomas Middleditch. Now, I like Sam Rockwell, and I loved him in Iron Man 2. I really genuinely loved him in Iron Man 2. But Thomas Middleditch is where I'm going with this one. And then for Carol Ferris, this is a cool one. Elizabeth Olsen from Avengers Age of Ultron and Godzilla 2014. And then we also have Abigail Spencer from Timeless and Grey's Anatomy. Elizabeth Olsen's fantastic. She would do an incredible job in this role. But I think the actual look of Abigail Spencer is so very close to the way that she's supposed to look that, and plus her acting is obviously on point. Like, she was amazing in Timeless and Grey's Anatomy. I think I would go with Abigail Spencer over Elizabeth Olsen on this one. All right, let me know what you guys think. Atrocitus, Josh Brolin, or Ian McShane? Between the two of these, I would go with Josh Brolin. Let me know what you guys think. And for the teams, let's take a look at Enigma Fancast teams. Team 1, Luke Evans, Taron Egerton, Anthony Hopkins, Sam Rockwell, Elizabeth Olsen, Josh Brolin. Team 2, we have Jon Hamm, Sam Heughan, Michael Gambon, Thomas Middleditch, Abigail Spencer, and Ian McShane. Between the two of these teams, I'm going to go with Team 1. I'm going to go with Team 1 on this one. Let me know what you like down below. Let me get a drink of my soda real quick. My voice feels like it's getting dry. All right. Correct Rankings Fancast. Welcome to the Fancasting Summit. Let's get into this. First, Sinestrro, Richard Armitage from Captain America, The First Avenger, and The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, and Damian Lewis from Billions and Homeland. Wow, this is actually really cool. I hadn't seen these before you casted these. So when you casted these and I saw them, I was like, oh my gosh, like look at the face. Look at the face on Damian Lewis. Like just, and I know he's like, he's red hair and very, very, very fair skin. It doesn't matter because you're going to paint literally over that. But he looks a great deal like Sinestrro. Minus the widow's peak in the front. But that could be fixed. Wow. On looks alone, I would go Damian Lewis, but Richard Armitage looks a great deal like Sinestrro too. I would like to see Richard Armitage. He's one of my favorite actors that I think is underrated. I would go with Richard on that one. Next up, Sean Scott William from Lethal Weapon and Dude, Where's My Car? And Chris Pratt, Guardians of the Galaxy and Parks and Recreations for Guy Gardner. Between the two of these, I would go with Chris Pratt. And for me, that one's easy, but I do like Sean Scott. Let me know if you guys would disagree with me on that. Next up, we have Ganthet, Andy Serkis, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and Black Panther. And then William Shatner from Star Trek, the original series, and Boston Legal. I think we had this matchup earlier, but opposite, top to bottom. I'm going to stick with William Shatner. Obviously, Andy Serkis is great and would knock this role out of the park. But it would be really cool to see William Shatner. So I would do William Shatner. All right, Tomar-Re, Zachary Quinto, and Luke Evans. Luke Evans as Tomar-Re would be good, no doubt. But I think it's a waste of his potential here. I would go with Zachary Quinto because Zach is exactly what I would want for Tomar-Re in this scenario. So I would go with Zachary Quinto. Carol Ferris, Kate Mara from House of Cards and Fantastic Four, and Anna Kendrick from The Accountant and Pitch Perfect. Between the two of these two seem super similar to me. Like they're very, in my head, they're pretty close to the same person. I would choose, I think I might choose Kate Mara on this one. I like Anna Kendrick, but I think there's a very specific personality that comes along with Anna Kendrick's acting. I would go with Kate Mara for that one. All right, Atrocitus, Dave Bautista, Guardians of the Galaxy and Hotel Artemis, and Manu Bennett from Arrow and the Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. If you guys didn't know, Manu Bennett was in The Hobbit. He played Azog the Defiler. He was also, of course, Slade Wilson in Arrow. I think on voice alone, I would give it to Manu Bennett. On physique, it could go either way. Dave Bautista obviously having the greater physique, but Manu Bennett being a close second. I would give this one to Manu Bennett because I know a great deal of this is going to be vocal acting. I would do Manu. Next, let's take a look at the teams. Correct Rankings Fancast has Team 1, Richard Armitage, Sean William Scott. I thought it was Sean Scott William. Anyway, whatever. Andy Serkis, Zachary Quinto, Kate Mara, Dave Bautista. For Team 2, we have Damian Lewis, Chris Pratt, William Shatner, Luke Evans, Anna Kendrick, Manu Bennett. This one is tough. This one's tough for me. You know what? Between the two of these, I am going to go with... You know what? I think I'm going to surprise you guys. I'm going to go with Team 2. I'm going to go with Team 2 with this one because I have confidence in Richard Armitage, but I also have confidence in Damian Lewis. I feel like they may be on the same level, close to the same level. And Chris Pratt, I think, is the better choice for Guy Gardner. I think he's like, you got to have that. William Shatner would be great. Luke Evans would do a good job. I wouldn't doubt that. Bummer I couldn't take Zach on that one. But Kendrick would be fine, and Manu Bennett would be ideal. So, to me, that's the one I would want. All right, next up, let's take a look at Fancast Infinity. Fancast Infinity, welcome back to the Fancasting Summit. We have Sinestrro, Mads Mikkelsen from Doctor Strange and Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and Daniel Bruhl from Rush and Captain America Civil War, and the upcoming The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Between the two of these, I would go with Daniel Bruhl. I think Daniel Bruhl is an amazing actor. I think he would do a great job as Sinestrro. He actually does look similar to the role, whereas I think Mads Mikkelsen's look, his actual head and face shape and all that, look, I think in my opinion, a little too different from what Sinestrro looks like. Mads is an amazing actor. I was hoping that Marvel would repurpose him from just being a villain in Doctor Strange, who everyone's going to forget about, to being Doctor Doom. I thought he would be an amazing Doctor Doom. But Daniel Bruhl would kill it as Sinestrro, so I would love to see that. Can't wait to see him as Baron Zemo in Marvel, too. So, yeah, that's what I'm going with that one. Guy Gardner, this is a good one. Justin Hartley from Smallville and This Is Us, and Taron Egerton from Kingsman, The Secret Service, and The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. Between the two of these, I would go with Justin Hartley. I think that's a great call for this one. A little outside of the box thinking, and you got yourself a really unique fan cast right there. So good call on that one. For Ganthet, we have Anthony Hopkins and Andy Serkis. Between the two of these, I would go with Anthony Hopkins. I think he's much closer to the look you're going for. And when I say look, guys, I know that this is going to be motion capture, so I know they could make it look however they want. That being said, they could also make it look pretty much like Anthony Hopkins, and I would be okay with that. Plus, he's an amazing actor, just like Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis being the more experienced motion capture artist might be helpful, but I'm sure that Anthony Hopkins could pick it up, probably no problem, with the right director. All right, that's my thought on that one. Then we have Tomar-Re, Alan Tudyk from Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and Doom Patrol, and Simon Pegg from Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, and Star Trek Beyond. This is good. To me, this one could be either person. It really would not matter to me which one you picked. I personally like Alan Tudyk more, so I would go with Alan Tudyk. Next up, we have Carol Ferris from Star Sapphire. We have Mandy Moore from Tangled and This Is Us, and Marina Baccarin from Deadpool and Gotham. This one's tough. Between the two of these, I love Marina Baccarin, but I'm going to go with Mandy Moore on this one. I think Mandy Moore would be... I think if you darken her hair to black, she'd look almost exactly like what you're going for, and I think her acting history is exactly what you're going for. So I would go Mandy Moore. All right, Atrocitus. We have Andre Braugher from Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I believe he actually played Darkseid in that movie, which would be amazing. And his voice is perfect for this kind of role. Damien Poitier, not a lot of people know this, but he was the first Thanos in the MCU. So he was in Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe, but he's also in the Avengers. So the first Avengers movie, when Thanos does that, like, when they're like, what is it? It's like, to fight the humans is to court death, and then Thanos turns around and, does that like smile thing. That's who Damien Poitier played. That he was the original Thanos, and they later recast for Josh Brolin when they were going to go full motion capture, and so he kind of got robbed of that role a little bit. I mean, we got an awesome role with Josh Brolin, but I think it would be really awesome to retcon him into another major villain and have him play Atrocitus. So for me, I would go Damien Poitier. I think that's a good call. And finally, let's take a look at the teams. We have Mads Mikkelsen, Justin Hartley, Anthony Hopkins, Alan Tudyk, Mandy Moore, Andre Braugher, and Team 2 we have Daniel Bruhl, Taron Egerton, Andy Serkis, Simon Pegg, Marina Baccarin, and Damien Poitier. Between the two of these teams, I'm going to go with Team 1. For me, a must-have would be Mandy Moore. I think that's a great choice. Great choice for Carol Ferris. And Guy Gardner, I think Justin Hartley is an amazing call for that. Alan Tudyk, Simon Pegg, that one could go either way, honestly. Ganthet could go either way, but I personally prefer Anthony Hopkins. And I went against my better judgment, I think, on Sinestrro. But it's a win, I think, taking Andre Braugher as well. So I'm going to go Team 1. Let me know what you guys think down below. All right, next up, Dr. Fancast. Welcome back to the Fancasting Summit. The doctor is in the house. Let's take a look. We have Sinestrro, Ben Mendelsohn, and I think you had separated DCEU and HBOMAX yourself. So I think you had submitted them with those details. So I didn't personally separate those that way. I think you did. And that's fine. You can absolutely do that. You say Ben Mendelsohn for DCEU, Captain Marvel, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and Sam Witwer, HBO Max for Solo, A Star Wars Story in Smallville. Truly, truly, I say to all of you, this right here, this casting for both of these is absolutely masterful. I think both of these guys would be so good as Sinestrro. Ben Mendelsohn he was the best part of the Captain Marvel film by far. Like, some people were like, oh, it was, you know, it was, some people say it was Bree, some people say it was Sam Jackson. No, Ben Mendelsohn. He was the best part of that film. It wasn't Jude Law. It wasn't anybody else. It was Ben Mendelsohn. He was the best. And then, again, in Rogue One, played an amazing character in Rogue One as well. Sam Witwer's character, Sam Witwer as an actor is just incredible. He played the voice of Darth Maul in the Clone Wars and Rebels and in Solo: A Star Wars Story. And also he played Doomsday in Smallville. Like, he's really good at playing a bad guy, and he's an incredible voice actor. He even voiced Emperor Palpatine for a couple of episodes, I think it was, in it might have been Rebels, or it might have been Clone Wars. I can't remember which one. But he voiced it, and he's a beast. The guy's amazing. I think putting the mustache on both of them, you can see the character come to life. I might give this one to Ben Mendelsohn, though. So even though we know the show's coming to HBO Max, I might still give it to Ben Mendelsohn. That'd be cool. So this is awesome. So Chris Evans, DCEU, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and Fantastic Four. The way that I see Guy Gardner from popping off the page in my imagination is exactly how Chris Evans played Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, in the Fantastic Four, the first movie. Holy cow, was that like spot on. It's just a guy that's like, he's got these powers, he's not afraid to use it. He loves his powers. He's like super obsessed with his powers. You know, strapping hunk of a guy. That's kind of where I see it. Now, on the flip side of that, Aaron Paul, he kind of rests on aggression. He kind of has that bad personality all around. Like, he seems like a guy that's eager for trouble, whereas Chris Evans kind of has the illusion of good. Now, Guy Gardner starts good. He starts out very good, and then he kind of bends into Red Lantern. So that could be better. I think both of these are solid, just like the first slide, but I'm going to go with Chris Evans on this one, just because I think you need a little bit of that transformation, and I would see that personally better in Chris Evans. All right, so now we have Morgan Freeman in the DCEU, The Dark Knight, Now You See Me, and Jonathan Pryce, HBO Max, for Game of Thrones and Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. For me, I gotta go with Morgan Freeman on this one. I think Morgan Freeman would be a really cool Ganthet. Obviously, we all know his voice. It's not per se what I would imagine Ganthet's voice to be, but to me, it would be similar to casting Will Smith as the genie. Like, it works with tone. It works with the way that that the character originally was. It's different than it originally was, but it has the same characteristical elements, I guess. I would probably go with Morgan Freeman. It'd be a different take, but I would definitely enjoy that. Tomar-Re, Paul Bettany from DCEU, Solo: A Star Wars Story, and Avengers: Age of Ultron, and Anthony Daniels, HBO Max, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. This one would be really, for me, the nostalgia factor of having Anthony Daniels in another role that is like superheroes, fantasy, that kind of thing, would be amazing. Paul Bettany was really good as Vision, and he already is used to the motion capture, that sort of thing. wearing, you know, suits and all of that. And same with Anthony Daniels. He's already used to wearing the suit, literally being in a soda can in the desert, no less. But this one's a coin toss. I really would enjoy and love both of these. I think I might take Paul Bettany, though, for his broader experience as an actor. But I think Anthony Daniels would make that work just fine. So I would like that. Carol Ferris, Emilia Clarke, Game of Thrones and Star Wars Story, and Rosario Dawson, HBO Max, Daredevil, Netflix, and the Lego Batman movie, where she played Batgirl. Given the choice between the two of these, I'm going to go with Rosario Dawson. I think Rosario Dawson, I think she's the better actress. I know I don't choose Emilia Clarke a lot. I know there's a lot of people that really like Emilia Clarke, that are big fans of her work as an actress. What I've seen of her, and again, I haven't seen Game of Thrones. I've seen some clips, but I've not been wowed by her acting. I have, though, with Rosario Dawson. I think that Rosario Dawson is really good, is genuinely a really great actress. And I think that her personality would come alive in the role of Carol Ferris, especially in the before the power section. Before she becomes a Star Sapphire, I think she would be really great as, you know, the Air Force pilot, and I think what is it? Not a corporal. What's the title? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the title. But Carol Ferris as a military personnel and as Hal Jordan's lover. I think that would be really well done by Rosario. I'm going with Rosario Dawson on that. Atrocitus, Red Lantern. This one right here makes me smile big time. Idris Elba, who would kill it as Atrocitus, and Michael Ironside, who would be just menacing, like absolutely menacing. I'm gonna go with Idris Elba. It's close though. I really like Michael Ironside. I love his voice, but Idris, I think, would do such a good job with this. I like Idris, so we'll do that. Let's look over the teams for Dr. Fancast. Great choices, by the way. Team 1, Ben Mendelsohn, Chris Evans, Morgan Freeman, Paul Bettany, Emilia Clarke, and Idris Elba. Team 2 is Sam Witwer, Aaron Paul, Jonathan Pryce, Anthony Daniels, Rosario Dawson, and Michael Ironside. Between the two of these teams, I'm going to go with Team 1. I like almost everybody on this list a lot. I really do. But Team 1 for me would be a win across the board, with only my preference leaning towards Rosario Dawson over Emilia Clarke. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on that down below, and we can go to the next slide. Let me just peek over here. Everyone's saying hello. Dude, it's awesome to see all you guys in here. It's great to have all these comments. Thank you guys for saying hey. Need this commentary. I know, yeah. On the chat, I'm looking past everything from here to here. You guys can't see it, but I can. It's like you're muted. I should have seen that sooner. Thank you guys for bearing with me on that. I'm trying to get through as much of this as quickly as I can without taking up unnecessary amounts of time. I'll get to the comments at the very, very end. Like people who leave comments, I'll scroll through and check for questions or other things. But for now, let's continue on with the fan casting. Fancast 24/7. Welcome back to the Fan Casting Summit. Let's take a look at your choices. Actor number 1, Dev Patel for Sinestrro. And then choice number 2 is Daniel Dae Kim from Lost in Hawaii Five-0. Both of these guys are good. I think, personality-wise, I would have to go with Daniel Dae Kim. Although I think that looks-wise, it would be probably better performed. Like the look of it would probably be better with Dev Patel. But I do believe that the acting ability of Daniel Dae Kim is probably far superior. And that's my opinion. I know it's not truth. It's not absolute truth. It's just what I feel from what I've seen of these guys. Both good. but I think Daniel Day Kim is the better. I would go with Daniel Day Kim. Next, let's take a look. Sean William Scott for Guy Gardner from American Pie and Lethal Weapon, or Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Lost. This is a really good one. I like Rob. Rob is a good choice, but given the choice between these two, I would go with Sean William Scott. I think he looks so much more the part to me, and he embodies that kind of a character. I would like to see Sean in that role. That's a good one to me. All right, Ganthet. Oh, this is cool. We've got Mark Hamill from Nightfall and Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, and Jason Alexander from Seinfeld and Dunstan checks in. Jason Alexander is a really good actor. If you were going to go with Jason Alexander for this role, I would want him to be, I would want his appearance to be complete CGI. It could be motion captured, but I'd want them to make it look more like Ganthet. Because to me, Mark Hamill can and kind of in a way does look like he's ready to be Ganthet. And I know his acting ability would lend itself to that kind of character. Jason Alexander is a unique choice. I don't see him playing Ganthet. I'll be completely honest. It could happen, but I'm going Mark Hamill, and I'm going to do that one with confidence. Next up, we have Rami Malek from Mr. Robot and No Time to Die, and Doug Jones from The Shape of Water and Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. If you guys didn't know, Doug Jones was he was the Silver Surfer physically. He was the motion capture for that. And it was actually Morpheus from The Matrix that did the voice for that. But anyway, so between the two of these guys, I'm gonna go with Rami Malek. I actually would love to see Rami Malek take that role of Tomar-Re. To me, that's a really great call, and I do think Doug Jones would do a good job for sure. But for me, it's Rami. Next, let's take a look. We've got Alison Brie from Mad Men and Community, and Emmy Rossum from Shameless and Cold Pursuit. Between the two of these, I'm gonna go with Alison Brie. Emmy Rossum is good, but between the two of them, I think Alison Brie is the better actress. I'm gonna go with Alison Brie, and I think she does look a lot more like Carol Ferris, so I'm gonna go with her. For Atrocitus, ooh, this is a cool one. This is really good. Sterling K. Brown, Black Panther, and This Is Us. I never saw him for that role, but I could picture that. Liam Neeson, Taken, and Batman Begins. The accent would be the only thing that would make me hesitant to put Liam Neeson in the Atrocitus role, but his overall voice, if he could ditch the accent, to me would work the best. I would go with Liam Neeson. All right, let's take a look at these teams. First up, Team 1, Dev Patel, Sean William Scott, Mark Hamill, Rami Malek, Alison Brie, and Sterling K. Brown. For Team 2, it's Daniel Day Kim, Rob McElhenney, Jason Alexander, Doug Jones, Emmy Rossum, and Liam Neeson. For me, I'm going to go with Team 1. I think Team 1 is the better choice. I would miss Daniel Day Kim, but I think everybody else would maybe be better suited on Team 1. And that's, my opinion, but let me know what you guys think. Do you guys disagree? Am I absolutely nuts? Am I, missing something super awesome? Tell me about that in the comments. All right, next up, we got Fancast Frenzy. Fancast Frenzy, welcome back to the Fancasting Summit. Let's take a look at your choices. First up, we've got Sinestrro, Green Lantern, Benedict Cumberbatch from Star Trek Beyond and Sherlock. Really good choice. And Hugo Weaving, The Matrix and Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Between the two of these guys, it really is very close for me. Benedict Cumberbatch, you can't go wrong casting him. I think he's one of the best actors alive. He really is. But Hugo Weaving, I said this towards the beginning because I think maybe it might have been Mason or someone in the beginning of this summit offered Hugo Weaving, and I think it was against Luke Evans, which is why I didn't choose Hugo. That might have been the matchup. I can't remember who it was, but Hugo Weaving is amazing as a cast for this choice. He would do such a good job as Sinestrro that even over Benedict Cumberbatch, I'm going to choose Hugo Weaving. Next up, we've got Guy Gardner, Andy Samberg from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Hot Rod, and Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy and the Magnificent Seven. Between the two of these guys, I'm going to go with Chris Pratt. It's got to be Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt, he is Guy Gardner. Like, he was born to play that role. It'll be a darn shame if he never gets a chance to play that role. Andy Samberg, Hot Rod is probably, it's arguably my favorite movie. Seriously, Hot Rod is, it's up there. It's one of the best. One of the best comedies ever made. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a phenomenal show. Super glad that it got picked up by the network after it was dropped, because that show deserves to be around. It's a super brilliant show. But I'm going to go with Chris Pratt on this one. It's hard to ignore. Ganthet, we've got Ian McKellen from The Hobbit and Unexpected Journey and X-Men. You guys know him, Magneto. Great choice. This is a very unique cast that maybe not a lot of you guys know. Lloyd Sher from Hotel Artemis and Star Wars The Clone Wars. Do you guys remember in The Clone Wars when there was that episode where I think it was Anakin and Ahsoka go to they're traveling in space, and then all of a sudden this gigantic cube, it looks like a spaceship, but it's a giant cube, floats toward them, and all of a sudden they get close enough and it just boom, flash of light, and they disappear into this world. Now they're in this world, and there's a father that represents the balance of light and dark, the daughter who represents the light side of the Force, and the son who represents the dark side of the Force. There was that whole storyline involving the prophecy about Anakin balancing the Force, falling to the dark, all of that stuff, becoming Vader, all of it. There's a short series of episodes where they dealt with that, the father, son, and the daughter. Lloyd Sher voiced the father. So Lloyd Sher, I mean, he's already used to playing forces of galactic proportions with a very solid voice for this kind of thing. I would personally have given Ian McKellen the choice to a lot of other competitors, but I'm going to go with Lloyd Sher. This is a deep cut for nerds. I can tell, Fancast Frenzy, that you're like me, you're a nerd, because Lloyd Sher is a good call. That is a deep cut. Not a lot of people know about him, but that's a good call. I'm going to go with Lloyd Sher. Tomar-Re, we've got Zachary Quinto and Benedict Cumberbatch. This is the second Benedict Cumberbatch chosen in your lineup, but I believe the first one was on the top. This one's on the bottom. I'm going to go with Zachary Quinto. I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he would have been better for Sinestrro. I'm going to choose Zachary Quinto for this one. I'm going Spock, baby. Spock for this one. All right, and Spock over Khan. And so for Carol Ferris, we have Allison Williams from Girls and Get Out, and Rachel McAdams from Doctor Strange and The Vow. This is a really cool choice. Between the two of these, I'm going Allison Williams. I really like Allison Williams. I think that she would do well as Carol Ferris. I'd love to see her get that kind of a comic book role. Rachel McAdams was in Doctor Strange. I'm not very impressed. I mean, I like Rachel McAdams. She's good. She was better in The Vow than she was in Doctor Strange. But she's all but forgotten. Like, most people forget that she was even in Doctor Strange. I'm going to go with Allison Williams on this one. And then, again, Josh Brolin from Avengers Infinity War and Deadpool 2. And J.K. Simmons from Justice League and Spider-Man Far From Home. I love J.K. Simmons a lot. He's got an amazing voice, and I think he could do a great job. However, Josh Brolin from Avengers Infinity War, and obviously playing Cable in Deadpool 2, his voice, even when he's just regular, like just speaking regular, it sounds intimidating. It sounds menacing. J.K. Simmons does, but not to the same degree. I'm going to go with Josh Brolin because it'll be a majority vocal role, this Atrocitus role. So I'm going to go there. All right, next, let's take a look at all the teams, both teams for Fancast Frenzy. First, Benedict Cumberbatch, Andy Samberg, Ian McKellen, Zachary Quinto, Allison Williams, and Josh Brolin. Team 2, Hugo Weaving, Chris Pratt, Lloyd Sher, Benedict Cumberbatch, Rachel McAdams, and J.K. Simmons. For me, I'm going to have to go with Team 2. I can't pass up Hugo Weaving, and I can't pass up Chris Pratt. And I'm not going to pass up Lloyd Sher. That's a great call, my friend. Very good call. And everyone else on this roster I think is great. I would prefer Zachary Quinto. I prefer Allison Williams and Josh Brolin. But to me, the other individuals against them are also great. And I think it'd turn out fine. But I have to have the first three. So team 2 for me. All right, Fancast Power. Welcome back to the Fancasting Summit. Let's take a look at the teams. Cillian Murphy from Peaky Blinders and Inception. Very cool. Very interesting choice. And Michael Fassbender from X-Men Days of Future Past and Shame. Between the two of these guys, I do like Cillian Murphy. I think that's a good call for this one. But I'm going to go with Michael Fassbender. I can see him with that slender, like twisty mustache. I think he'd look amazing transformed into the role of Sinestrro. So I would go with Michael Fassbender. Next up, we have Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth. The Chris against Chris. I like the image you chose here. The image you have up on the top for Guy Gardner actually looks a lot more like Chris Hemsworth. But I will say that all around, I think that Chris Pratt is better for the role of Guy Gardner. I think on every level, his personality, his physical appearance in general, like not from just this picture, but most all comic iterations, I do think that Chris Pratt is closer to that role. And I would like to see Pratt get that role. So I'm going with Pratt. Between Anthony Hopkins and Patrick Stewart, very cool choice. I'm going to go with... Ooh, that's tough. I'm going to go with Anthony Hopkins. I love Patrick Stewart. X-Men, Star Trek. That's Captain Picard, man. You know, I think either of these guys could play the role for sure, 100%. But I do think I see Anthony Hopkins as the role more for myself. So I think I would go with Anthony Hopkins. Both are good. Tomar-Re, Matt Smith, Doctor Who and Morbius, and Eddie Redmayne, The Theory of Everything, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. For Tomar-Re, I think I would go with... I think I might go with Matt Smith on this one. I'm gonna go with Matt Smith. You guys let me know. For me, that one's kind of like an either or, but I think Matt Smith might be the one I would choose for Tomar-Re. Let me know what you think. Carol Ferris, we have Ana de Armas from Knives Out and Blade Runner 2049, and Miranda Bakarin from Deadpool and Firefly. Very, very interesting. Both of these are good. I gotta say, it depends on who we choose for Hal Jordan. Would sway me one way or the other for Carol. If the actor for Hal is a bit younger, I would go with Anna. If Hal's a little bit older, I'd go with Marina. Both to me are wins. I really love both of these actresses. Just for the sake of having to choose right now, I'm gonna go with Ana de Armas. Okay, Atrocitus, Idris Elba versus David Harbour, Stranger Things and Black Widow. Between the two of these, I am going to go with... Oh, dude, it's so hard. Let's go with Idris Elba. I'm going to go with... And I love David Harbour, but I'm going to go with Idris Elba on that one. It'd be cool to see Hellboy play a Red Lantern. All right, so then we have Team 1. Cillian Murphy, Chris Pratt, Anthony Hopkins, Matt Smith, Ana de Armas, and Idris Elba. Team 2 is Michael Fassbender, Chris Hemsworth, Patrick Stewart, Eddie Redmayne, Marina Bakarin, and David Harbour. Dude, honestly, both of these teams are wins to me. I'm going to go with Team 1. I do think Cillian Murphy could do a great job as Sinestrro. Maybe not as much as Michael Fassbender, in my opinion, but the entire team is super, super solid on both sides, but I like the one from Team 1, so I'm going to go Team 1. Next, let's take a look at Fancast 3000. Welcome back to the Fancasting Summit. I love you, 3000. Sinestro, Green Lantern. We have Luke Evans. Oh, man, you had to go here, didn't you? And Jason Isaacs from The Patriot and The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. If you guys haven't seen The Patriot, I don't know what you're doing with your life. The Patriot is incredible. It's one of the best. It's a Mel Gibson stars in it. I can't remember who directs it. but Jason Isaacs plays one of the main bad guys. He plays technically it's the main bad guy, but he's not the highest ranking of the Redcoats. Because it's a story of American history, British history, you know, the war, 1776, all that. Gosh, man, you're gonna be hard pressed to find a better villain actor than Jason Isaacs. He really is the best. This one to me is a win on both sides, but for aesthetic specifically, and it's close. It's really close. I'm going to stick with Luke Evans, but I'm going to regret it because I love Jason Isaacs. I think he'd be great. Yes, Guy Gardner. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Channing Tatum and Alan Richardson. Both of these guys are exactly what you want for Guy Gardner. Like, it's these two guys, Chris Pratt. You're going to, dude, this is like a, so now you're picking, now I know what you're doing. Fancast 3000, I think you probably figured out the way that I think. And you just said, I'm going to make Daniel have the hardest time he possibly can choosing between these things. But no, for the sake of time, I'm going to recklessly just choose one. And I'm going to go with Alan Richardson. But it hurts. And you hurt my feelings. Because Channing Tatum's a great freaking choice for this. He literally is what you would want for this. Like the all-American boy. That's why they cast him in to play the American cowboy gunslinger in Kingsman 2. Obviously, the film wasn't as good as the first one. But that's why they cast him. Because he is that. He is like the American like golden boy. It's like him and Chris Pratt are the two dudes. But I will say I'll go with Alan Richardson on this one. Next, we have Patrick Stewart from X-Men and Star Trek Picard, and Malcolm McDowell from Superman the Animated Series and Justice League Unlimited. I'm going to go with Patrick Stewart. I think Patrick Stewart would be great for this. Although Malcolm McDowell, he actually does have the head I'm looking for. So if you wanted to like copy paste the head onto Ganthet, that would work very, very well. Patrick Stewart, though, I would choose personally. So Tomar-Re, Peter Capaldi from Doctor Who and the Suicide Squad, and Simon Pegg, Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, Star Trek Beyond. I think I'm going to go with Simon Pegg. I really like Simon Pegg. I think he would be a good choice to play Tomar-Re. He's got that personality. Although Peter Capaldi has come up a lot, and I do think that he's a good choice. So I don't want people to think that because I'm not choosing him, he's not a good choice. It just happens to be that the people that are also being cast against Peter Capaldi or alongside Peter Capaldi for the role, I happen to appreciate perhaps a little more. But Peter Capaldi's a great choice. Next, we have Carol Ferris, Emily Blunt from A Quiet Place on the Edge of Tomorrow, and Michelle Monaghan from Fort Bliss and The Best of Me. Between the two of these, I would go with Michelle Monaghan. I think Michelle Monaghan would be a really cool choice. Atrocitus, Red Lantern. We have Kevin Grievous, Grievous. I don't know how to say it. Grievous. I'm used to saying Grievous because of Star Wars. Underworld, Blood Wars, and Young Justice. If you guys don't remember, in Young Justice, he was the black Blue Beetle. So you know how there's like the Blue Beetle, he was the Black Beetle, the big one. Actor number 2 is Clancy Brown, The Mandalorian and Thor Ragnarok. Clancy Brown has the perfect voice for this kind of thing, but so does Kevin Grievous, whatever. I'm going to call him Grievous. I don't even care. I'm going to call him Grievous from now on. Kevin Grievous. I'm going to have to go with Kevin Grievous because of his work on Young Justice. I got to choose that. And now let's take a look at the teams. Team 1, Luke Evans, Alan Richardson, Patrick Stewart, Peter Capaldi, Emily Blunt, and Kevin Grievous. Team 2, Jason Isaacs, Channing Tatum, Malcolm McDowell, Simon Pegg, Michelle Monaghan, and Clancy Brown. Between the two of these teams, I'm going to go with Team 1. Gosh, seriously, it makes me a little sad because I have to from my own choice, not choose Jason Isaacs, not choose Channing Tatum, not choose Simon Pegg, not choose Clancy Brown. All amazing choices for this. And obviously Malcolm's great and Michelle's great, but I prefer the others. So, well, I mean, I prefer Michelle over Emily, but choosing team 1 is where I'm going. So let me know what you guys think down below, and let's keep rolling. All right, next up, Nave Wave 88. Welcome back to the Fancasting Summit. Let's take a look at your show. We've got Ewan McGregor from Beauty and the Beast and Birds of Prey, and Giancarlo Esposito from The Mandalorian and Breaking Bad. Wow. I've got to say, I don't know of a lot of TV actors that are better than Giancarlo Esposito. He really is one of, if not the best, he's one of the best. And he almost always ends up playing villains. Complicated villains, not outright straight evil sometimes, but sometimes he does. I think he would be an amazing choice for Sinestrro. So I got love for Ewan. I got serious love for Ewan McGregor, but I'm going to go with Giancarlo Esposito. All right, Guy Gardner. We have Aaron Paul and Chris Pratt. I'll make this simple. I'm going Chris Pratt. Ganthet, we have Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. We've got Magneto versus Picard. I'm just kidding. We've got Magneto versus Professor X. And between the two of these guys, tough call. Tough call. I would like to see... I would love to see Patrick Stewart in this one. This one's hard for me. I don't like choosing between these two guys. To me, they actually could play very, very similar characters. It could work either way for me, because you see, you know, Ian McKellen didn't just play Magneto, he played Gandalf. So you see, like, you see the flip side of that, where he plays the Professor X to the Hobbits. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's kind of, you see him play both, and you see Patrick Stewart play Professor X, obviously, and Picard. So you see those complexities, you see the different kinds of characters they're playing. They're amazing. It's either one. It really is. I'm gonna say Patrick Stewart, but it's either one. All right, Tomar-Re. We've got Martin Freeman from Sherlock and Black Panther versus Peter Capaldi. Between the two of these, I'm gonna go with Peter Capaldi. I love Martin Freeman. I loved him in Black Panther. I think he was just a great choice. He was brilliant in Sherlock, and I would love to see him in more things. That being said, Peter Capaldi, I think, has my vote for this one. Carol Ferris, star Sapphire. We have Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones and Solo: A Star Wars Story, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead from Birds of Prey and Sky High. Between the two of these, for Carol Ferris, I'm going to go with Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And for Nave Wave 88's Atrocitus, we have David Harbour from Stranger Things and Black Widow, and Josh Brolin from Avengers Infinity War and Deadpool 2. These are really good. Between the two of these, I think most of us probably agree, based on the fact that a lot of people have suggested Josh Brolin, that he could do this role, no doubt. We all know he killed it as Thanos. He killed it as Cable. He'd be amazing in this role. I think I might want to give this one to David Harbour, though. I'd love to see David get a crack at it, just playing the embodiment of living rage. I would love to see that. All right, next up we have the teams. Team 1 is Ewan McGregor, Aaron Paul, Ian McKellen, Martin Freeman, Emilia Clarke, and David Harbour. Team 2, we have Giancarlo Esposito, Chris Pratt, Patrick Stewart, Peter Capaldi, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and Josh Brolin. Between the two of these awesome teams, I think across the board, all these choices are really good. But I'm going to go with Team 2. And I think namely it's because I greatly prefer both Giancarlo Esposito and Chris Pratt to their counterparts. I prefer that, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I think, too. So everyone else is solid, but I'm going Team 2 on this one. What do you guys like? Let me know in the comments. User Fancaster 20, welcome back to the Fancasting Summit. Let's take a look at your choices. We got Tom Ellis for Sinestrro. That actually looks really good. I can totally see that. And Rami Malek from No Time to Die and Mr. Robot. I think Rami Malek could absolutely play Sinestrro. but I really think Tom Ellis would do a great job. I think I'm going to give this one to Tom Ellis. Plus, I think Sinestrro, he's not known for being like a big guy, but I think he, in stature, should be imposing enough compared to whoever's going to be playing the Green Lanterns. Obviously not like compared to Kilowog or anything, but like in stature for height and all that stuff, I think Tom Ellis is probably the better choice. Rami Malek is a remarkable actor, so I'm not putting that down. He might even be the better actor than Tom Ellis. Tom Ellis is an amazing actor, just not as for sure not as recognized. But I do think that Tom Ellis is where I'm going with this one. Next up, let's take a look. We've got Rupert Evans for Guy Gardner or Sam Claflin for Guy Gardner. These are cool, very unique. I'm going to go with Sam Claflin. I think Sam Claflin is much closer to Guy Gardner than Rupert Evans is. Rupert Evans is from The Man in the High Castle and Charmed, and Sam Claflin from The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Adrift. I'm going to go Sam Claflin. For Ganthet, oh, this is cool. Liam Cunningham from Game of Thrones and Clash of the Titans, and Ed Harris from Westworld and National Treasure. Between the two of these guys, I'm going to go with Liam Cunningham. And for Tomar-Re, we have Michael Fassbender. Very interesting choice there. Michael Fassbender for Tomar-Re and William H. Macy from Shameless and Jurassic Park 3. For Tomar-Re, I'm going to go with William H. Macy. Again, sometimes I feel like certain actors may be better suited in other roles, or maybe far too overqualified for a certain kind of role. Not that that's the case here, just that I feel like Michael Fassbender would be better suited as, I mean, he might be better suited as a Guy Gardner. He might be better suited as an Atrocitus. He might be better suited as a Sinestrro. As Tomar-Re, I would give this one to William H. Macy. Carol Ferris, Adelaide Kane from Power Rangers RPM and Rain, and Nina Dobrev from The Vampire Diaries and Return of Xander Cage, or Triple X Return of Xander Cage. Between the two of these, I'm going to go with Adelaide Kane. That's a cool choice. I like that. And Atrocitus, Red Lantern, Jordan Peele from Us and Get Out, and Andy Serkis from Black Panther, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Between the two of these, I like Jordan Peele, but I don't see him playing Atrocitus. I mean, he could, I'm sure, and I would like to see that. But I would probably go with the safer pick. I'd go with Andy Serkis. And let's take a look at these teams. These are really good choices, by the way. Tom Ellis, Rupert Evans, Liam Cunningham, Michael Fassbender, Adelaide Kane, and Jordan Peele for the first row. For the second row, we have Rami Malek, Sam Claflin, Ed Harris, William H. Macy, Nina Dobrev, and Andy Serkis. For me, I'm going to go with Team 2. Team 2 is where I'm choosing with this one. Thank you very much, User Fancaster. These are really fun. I love that. Good choices. Fancasting 10, welcome back to the Fancasting Summit. We have Luke Evans for Sinestrro versus Jason Isaacs. I think we had someone else do this exact pairing, and I chose Luke Evans by a slim margin. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Can you guys hear me again? All right, cool. I just wanted to make sure I didn't mute the mic and leave it muted like I did last time, obviously. That would be a bad thing. But let's take a look. I'm going to go this time with Jason Isaacs. Since I got a chance to think it over again, Jason Isaacs he's the quintessential villain actor. Like, he's so good. I can't tell you enough. Plus, I think there's a little hint here. He's acting in a show called The OA. I haven't seen it, but obviously the Guardians are from OA. So I feel like that might be a sign. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that superstitious, but with the That being said, though, I do think Jason Isaacs is a fantastic choice for this. And for the heck of it, I'm going to defy what I said last time and do this one. I'm going to do Jason Isaacs on this one. Let me know what you guys think about that. Next, for Guy Gardner, Green Lantern / Red Lantern, we have Nick Zano from DC's Legends of Tomorrow and Minority Report. Really cool choice. And Pete Plozek from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Teen Wolf. On looks alone, I'm going to go with Pete Plozek. Both of them are really good. Acting-wise, I may choose Nick Zano, but I think Pete, I just probably haven't seen enough of him to see his range. But if he can do it, I would say give it to him. So I'm going to go with Pete. Ganthet, this is a cool one. Kelsey Grammer from Frasier and X-Men The Last Stand, and Patrick Stewart from X-Men and Star Trek Picard. If you guys didn't know, Frasier was in X-Men. He was in X-Men The Last Stand as Beast. He played Hank McCoy, Beast. And obviously we know Patrick Stewart. Between the two of these, I actually do think Kelsey Grammer would be the better choice for Ganthet. I think he has the personality I would want, personally. I love him as an actor, and I think that would work really nicely. I'm going to go with Kelsey Grammer. For Tomar-Re, we have Matt Smith, The Crown and Doctor Who, and Thomas Middleditch from Silicon Valley and Zombieland Double Tap. Between the two of these gentlemen, I'm going to pick Thomas Middleditch. I think he would work really nicely in this role. Carol Ferris, we have Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones and Solo: A Star Wars Story, and Nina Dobrev from The Vampire Diaries and XXX, or XXX, Return of Xander Cage. Between the two of these, I'm going to go with Nina Dobrev. For Atrocitus, we have Manu Bennett from Arrow, The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, and Kevin Grievous. I'm sure I'm not saying that correctly, but that's what I got. Underworld, Blood Wars, and Young Justice. Again, he was the Black Beetle. Between the two of these guys, I think I'm going to go with Manu Bennett. I mean, Manu does have, he does have that voice. I mean, obviously Kevin's got the voice too. But I think for All Out Rage, I think I can get behind Manu on this one. So I'm going to go with Manu. And let's take a look at the teams. Luke Evans, Nick Zano, Kelsey Grammer, Matt Smith, Emilia Clarke, and Manu Bennett. For Team 2, we have Jason Isaacs, Pete Plozek, Patrick Stewart, Thomas Middleditch, Nina Dobrev, and Kevin Grievous. Between the two of these, I am going to go with Team 2. Team 2, Jason Isaacs, Pete, Patrick, Thomas, Nina, and Kevin. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. All right, everybody, we're getting ready to wrap up the first section before we head into the finals. I am going to show you guys my choices, and I'll tell you guys which one's my favorite, but that's not really relevant. It's my own choices. So I want you guys to tell me of my choices, which ones you prefer for this fan cast, okay? So let me know of my choices, which ones you like the best. And let's go ahead and get into it. First up, for Sinestrro, I have chosen Luke Evans from Beauty and the Beast, The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug, and my second actor choice is Hugh Jackman from Logan and Prisoners. Now, if you guys look at the art that I've done, I used photo. I'm not very good at Photoshop, but I tried to do my best. Luke Evans, he clearly does look like Sinestrro. Obviously, I think the skin is going to be a little bit darker on Sinestrro, probably a little closer to like a richer, more saturated hue of pink/red. But also Hugh Jackman, he actually looks a lot like the Mark Strong version of Sinestrro, and I think that it would translate very smoothly putting someone like Hugh Jackman from a Wolverine role into Sinestro's role. I think they work really well. Hugh Jackman's amazing. A lot of people like him, and either one I think would be a good call in my totally humble, unbiased opinion, which obviously it is biased because it's mine. So you guys let me know which one you like better, and let's move on. For Guy Gardner, my top two choices are Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and of course 22 Jump Street and White House Down's Channing Tatum. As you guys can see, I made the hair a little bit more reddish, gave them, you know, a little bit of a wardrobe change, and this is what we got. So for me, you know, it doesn't really matter what I think, but I love the idea of Channing Tatum playing this character. But to me, there is no one better than Chris Pratt for this role. You guys tell me what you think and which one of my choices you like better in the comments. And for, I went all out with the Photoshop for this one. So for Ganthet, I seem to be in the minority on this one, but Kelsey Grammer from Frasier and X-Men Last Stand, I think would be amazing as Ganthet. He's compassionate. He can be frustrated. He can be hard-headed sometimes, but he can also be understanding and sympathetic. I think he is what I would want personally for Ganthet. That being said, Neil Patrick Harris is also one of those literally can do anything actors. I think it would be awesome to have him play Ganthet in either a motion capture type of role. You don't necessarily have to use his face per se, but I use the face that it shows from a series of unfortunate events on Netflix where he plays Lemony Snicket, he plays, I think it's Lemony Snicket, but he plays the guy. No, it's not Lemony Snicket. What's the name of the guy? I can't remember. The creep. He plays the creepy guy. The main character. That guy. And so I just kind of changed some of the outlines. I added a few things in there, and you can kind of see where I'm going with that idea. But it doesn't have to look like that, but it's just kind of the idea. Neil Patrick Harris and Kelsey Grammer. I like Kelsey more, but Neil could probably do it. So a little outside the box. Let me know what you guys think about those choices. And we have Tomar-Re, Doug Jones from Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, and Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, and Michael Emerson from Arrow and Lost. I didn't bother to go the full yard and try to make them look like the actual alien. I wasn't going to do that, but I just added some green in there. The personalities, the voice is where I'm really heading, and maybe even the motion capture. So I think Doug Jones would do a great job, but Michael Emerson, to me, his voice specifically would be ideal. I would want his voice and his personality in that character. So that's where I'm at. Let me know what you guys think about that. There's also Carol Ferris. Lauren Cohan from The Walking Dead and Supernatural, to me, is a great first choice. But Jamie Alexander from Thor and Blind Spot would be, if not as good, maybe better. I love both of these ladies as actresses. I think that they both embody everything that you would need for a star Sapphire. They're both powerful, both strong in character. They're both likable. They're both lovely. And I think that they would play that role of a vengeful lover very, very well. So I like both these. Let me know which one you prefer in the comments below. And then for the last part of my picks before the teams, we have Manu Bennett from Arrow and The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, and also Clancy Brown from The Mandalorian and Thor Ragnarok. Again, I love both of these guys. I think both of them have the voice to play this role. Manu Bennett has experience with the motion capture, but we also know now from The Mandalorian that Clancy Brown is he's no stranger to getting in the costume, the makeup, and actually being present in a character like we saw him play. I think it's the Deveronian, I don't know how you say it exactly. Deveronian, I think it is, in episode 6 of The Mandalorian, in the Prison Break episode. He was the horned devil alien. Super strong guy. So that's who he was. Let me know what you guys think down below. I personally would like to see Manu get that, but either one is a win for me. And you can take a look at my teams now. We've got Team 1 is Luke Evans, Chris Pratt, Kelsey Grammer, Doug Jones, Lauren Cohan, and Manu Bennett. Team 2 is Hugh Jackman, Channing Tatum, Neil Patrick Harris, Michael Emerson, Jamie Alexander, and Clancy Brown. Given the choice between teams 1 and 2, obviously for me it's going to be my Team 1. That's where I put my priority. But where do you guys line up on that? Do you guys like my Team 1 or do you like my Team 2? is my art hot crap or is it pretty good? Let me know what you guys think, or don't, you know, whatever's gonna help me feel better at night, but whatever. So you guys tell me what you think, so your opinion matters a great deal to me. So anyways, that's it for the individuals. And now that those of you guys who stuck this out, have been watching this whole time, thank you. I've tallied up all of the names. I've tallied up all of the casting choices for every single character role. And now we have the winners. We have the totals, the final results. Here are the most wanted actors to play the Green Lantern Corps in the DCEU / HBOMAX. Number 1 most wanted actor to play Sinestrro Green Lantern is... Oh, and by the way, one hell of an artist on Instagram has teamed up with me to do these art pieces for the final results. So thank you, one hell of an artist. His name is Mateo Cortez. Check him out on Instagram. I'll link that in the end, and it's also linked in the description of the video. Thank you for being part of this. Let's take a look at his art for the reveal. First place goes to Luke Evans for winning the most wanted actor nomination. Wow, that's super cool. I think a lot of us probably saw that coming for Sinestrro, but there's a few second placers that hit the lineup as well, and you can see my image as well. This is an image that Mateo Cortez created for me. Thank you for that, brother. I really appreciate it. Looks beautiful. I'm going to use that in some media and some marketing. I might even make it a t-shirt. But we go here. Most wanted actors to play Sinestrro is Luke Evans with 7 votes, and second place is Hugo Weaving, Adam Driver, and Jason Isaacs, all with 2 votes each. So that's pretty awesome. I'm really happy with these results. Let me know if you guys like what you're seeing here. Whenever you have the tie going across the board for like the second placer at like 2 or 3 votes, it means that there was a lot more diversity in casting choices. When you have higher numbers, that means most people agreed, and it's pretty unilateral. So to have the second place runner-up so different from the first place winner, that says something big. It means that the vast majority of people recognize Luke Evans as the right choice, but there's a lot of disagreement actually there's not a lot of other common ground. That's what that means. So it's pretty interesting to see. But Jason Isaacs, Hugo Weaving, and Adam Driver, all great choices. Love that. Next up, the number 1 most wanted actor to play Guy Gardner Green Lantern is... Let's take a look at one hell of an artist's art. Chris Pratt is the winner. Chris Pratt won, and second place goes to Aaron Paul and Sean William Scott. So we can take a look at this where I show the actual number of votes. Most wanted actor is Chris Pratt, 6 votes. And the second place runner-up is Aaron Paul and Sean William Scott, with third place being Taron Egerton and Channing Tatum. 2 votes for third place, 3 votes for second place. So again, much like the Sinestrro casting, a little bit more agreement for Aaron Paul and Sean William Scott. But again, very diverse casting, very diverse. And that's a lot of fun. We get a lot more ideas that way. That's fantastic. Love this. And I do think Chris Pratt is the right choice for this. But you guys let me know what you think. Are you happy with this? Would you be happy to see Chris Pratt show up in the HBO Max series and play Guy Gardner? I think that'd be pretty sick. But let me know your thoughts. All right. Most wanted actor to play Ganthet, Guardian of Oa, is one hell of an artist's art. So's Anthony Hopkins, Ian McKellen, Andy Serkis, and Patrick Stewart took first place in a 4-way tie, and second place being Mark Hamill. So we can take a look here. Check this out, guys. With 4 votes each, Anthony Hopkins, Andy Serkis, Ian McKellen, and Patrick Stewart all tied for first place. We've never had a 4-way tie before. Not for first place. We've had it for second, we've had it for third, but never for first place. That's a first for me. So really cool stuff. And it shows that there's a lot of consensus. People feel like these guys are the right guys. And given that the Guardians of Oa are not just one person, we were casting for Ganthet this time, but you could take that principle and say, why not have all of these guys? play the various Guardians of Oa. I mean, I'm sure that might get pretty expensive, but they might do it just for fun. They might do it for a slightly lower amount of money. You never know. And I love the second and third place runner-ups as well. Mark Hamill being third, I think is a great choice. Second place, I'm sorry, with 3 votes. That's a great choice. William Shatner and Kelsey Grammer, again, both of those guys got 2 votes, coming in third that way. That's also a great choice. So, first place, I'm super happy with this. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And how about this? Of the 4-way tie, which one would you choose? Let me know. Number 1 most wanted actor to play Tomar-Re Green Lantern is... One hell of an artist gives us Peter Capaldi in first place, and second place goes to Zachary Quinto and Doug Jones. So let's take a look. That's a great art, my brother. That's very good. First place, 4 votes for Peter Capaldi, and for second place, we have a tie at 3 votes, Zachary Quinto and Doug Jones. The reason why there wasn't a third place is because everything else was 1 vote, I believe. So one vote. It didn't constitute me adding another picture on there and doing that. Otherwise, I'd have to do that for everybody that got 1 vote, which is literally everybody. So wasn't gonna do that. But you guys get the point. I'm really happy with this. If Peter Capaldi got that role, I'd be stoked. I'd be really excited. I personally would prefer to see either Doug Jones or Zachary Quinto, but again, I'm in the minority here. Most people want Peter Capaldi to be that, and if they didn't pick him, as first place, I'm sure many people could agree that he's also a good choice for the role. So let me know what you guys think down below. Next up, Carol Ferris. Let's see who the most wanted actress is to play Carol Ferris. One hell of an artist's art shows Emilia Clarke won first place, and second place goes to Jamie Alexander, Marina Bakarin, and Nina Dobrev. So let's take a look at my breakdown. Most wanted actress to play Carol Ferris is Emilia Clarke with 5 votes, which is the vast majority of obviously coming in first with the most votes. But you have second place being Jamie Alexander, 2 votes, Marina Bakarin, 2 votes, and Nina Dobrev, 2 votes. I'm surprised at how many different diverse choices there are for the Green Lantern castings. Everyone has their own opinion about who should play. The number of entrants, I think, was something close to like 18. I can't remember off the top of my head, but 5 votes is a good amount of votes for commonality for first place. But we've had second placers before that are around 5 votes. So it does go to show you that there's a lot of 1 vote entrants in there, a lot of them. And so, yeah, really cool, interesting choices. I personally would prefer to have like Marina, Nina, or Jamie. I like the second placers better than the first, but I would be happy with number 1. I would not complain. I think that's a good choice, a solid choice nonetheless. So let me know what you guys think about that down below. The number 1 most wanted actor to play Atrocitus Red Lantern is, according to One Hell of an Artist, Josh Brolin took number 1. You can see clearly the art is based off of Thanos pulling that moon down. Man, you do some good work out here, bro. Your art is awesome. I love that. I love the blood splatter look. And Manu Bennett placed second. So check this out. And again, we have 4 votes is the winning amount. That's not a lot of common votes. And then 3 votes for the second placer, which again is not a lot. So then after that, you have you have a lot of 2s, you have a lot of 1s. I didn't want to stack the right side of this screen super tall, but that's where we're at. Josh Brolin and Manu Bennett. I would be super happy with either of these guys playing Atrocitus. And there was plenty of other actors that were cast that were really good as well. Let me know what you guys think about these results. And finally, we get to see the actual roster of all the winners side by side. So take a gander. These guys, we did it. We come to the end of this massive, long, almost half-hour video to show you guys the final results, the most wanted actors to play the DCEU / HBOMAX Green Lantern Corps Sinestrro, Guy Gardner, Ganthet, Tomar-Re, Ferris, and Atrocitus. Behold, you made it. What do you guys think about your winners? Luke Evans, Chris Pratt, the four-way tie between Anthony Hopkins, Ian McKellen, Andy Serkis, and Patrick Stewart, Peter Capaldi, Emilia Clarke, and Josh Brolin. Would you be happy with these castings for HBO Max Green Lantern Corps show, or even a DCEU film project? What do you guys like? What do you want to see? And are you excited for that project on HBO Max? Are you excited that it's possible we might get a Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, in the DCEU Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max? That's another possible way we're going to get a Green Lantern. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and tell all of your fan casting homies what you think of their choices. I just wanted to say to everybody, thank you so much for joining us, me, on Fancasting Summit number 8, the Green Lantern Corps Part 2. This was a big video. This is the first time we've ever done it live, so I'm glad we were able to catch and correct that time frame where my mic was out. I may download this video, edit it in post, and later re-upload the exact, replace the video with an upload or something like that, or I may just, I'll figure it out. But we went back, we corrected it. So I appreciate all of you guys sticking it through with me, joining me in the live. You guys are the best. I wanted to say a special thank you to each and every single Fancaster that submitted choices to make this Fancasting Summit possible. You guys are the freaking best. Mason Yeater, Jax Fancast, The Fan Director, Fancaster 23, Ultimate Fancast, Comic Man Jake, Enigma Fancasts, Correct Rankings Fancast, Fancast Infinity, Dr. Fancast, Fancasts 24/7, Fancast Frenzy, Fancast Power, Fancast _3000, Navewave 88, User _Fancaster 20, Fancasting 10, and myself, obviously, for putting it together. But I appreciate each and every single one of you guys for always coming back, always being part of these projects. It means a lot to me. It's been a crazy, crazy year. 2020's been a heck of a ride, but I appreciate you guys waiting. I appreciate you guys joining in the live. Thank you for your participation in the 8th Fancasting Summit event, and I hope you guys can be here for the 9th. Thank you guys so very much. And lastly, but not least, thank you, Mateo Cortez. You really are one hell of an artist. Follow Mateo Cortez on Instagram at 1H3LLOF_an_artist_. Follow him there. He's linked down below, so you can copy paste that and go straight to his Instagram page. But I appreciate you joining me, teaming up with me to make the art for this Fancasting Summit, for making it extra special. I greatly appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And to everyone else, you guys really, truly are the best. And where did my camera go? All right, there we are. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for joining the Fancasting Summit. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, smash that like button, and turn on notifications. Subscribe to the channel so that you can be part of the Stuff of Legend. Leave comments down below and share this video with a friend. So the 4 things you can do to help me for free are like, share, comment, subscribe. Those 4 things are going to help me out tremendously, more than you could even possibly know. It really will help me in a very, very big way. I do hope, though, that if you guys also have the opportunity, please stop by my TeePublic account, my TeePublic store. I want to show you guys that really quick. If you guys get a chance, stop by my TeePublic store so you can get shirts like this, Phantom Much Fiction, the Stuff of Legend, and all of your favorite brandings and styles, DC, Marvel, Star Wars, Fantasy, Lord of the Rings, all that stuff. You can get all kinds of t-shirts, mugs, sweaters, hoodies, stickers, pins, pillows, wall art, posters, all kinds of designs that I've made special for you so that you guys can have that fandom with you in person. And that will actually support me financially and help this channel grow with money. So if you guys want to support me for free, there's 4 ways: like, share, comment, subscribe. Those 4 things are going to help me get to 1,000 subscribers, and that way I can start making money from ads on YouTube and support my family that way. If you guys want to help me by getting something for yourself, check out my link in the description. Visit my TeePublic, and you can get some t-shirt and cool merch like this. And that would mean a lot to me, and I really appreciate it. So anyways, thank you guys once again, and you guys stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend.
Hey guys, D-Lo here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And remember to share this video with all of your nerd friends. I know you got them, and you know who they are. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about this discussion. Let me know what you would like to see me do a video on next. Subscribe to the channel because you're a legend, and we have that in common. Also be sure to turn on notifications to be notified right away when I upload my next video, or so that you can be alerted when I go live next time. That way you'll never miss a thing. Check out the other videos on the channel so that we can have a discussion on all your favorite movies and TV topics. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend.